let's go more into your past further, because in your bio you described that you got liberalized by your time in the military, and both of us will know that that's usually the reverse.
Yeah.
So how did that happen? What did that?
So I grew up as an objectivist, which is like libertarianism on steroids, like extreme capitalist. And I grew up in a family that was working class and then remarried into like upper middle classness. So I had a certain set of ideas, not only about how the world should work, but how it did work. Because when you're white passing and middle class, upper middle class, life tends to be easy, and bootstraps makes a lot more sense in that case. And when I joined the army, I met, for the first time in my life, people who had grown up very, very poor, people who couldn't afford dentistry, people who had their electricity shut off regularly, people who joined the army to try to get out of that bad situation. And so that made me realize that the bootstraps thing was a little bit less bootstrappy than I'd been led to believe. These people did not have the kind of opportunities that I did. And then also going to Afghanistan twice and being very much disabused of the notion that we were bringing freedom and democracy to anyone. And, you know, once you start questioning one thing, you start questioning all of it. So
like, just on my quick on the when I was fortunate that I was raised by my grandparents, and they're FDR Democrats. So I've been effectively a Bernie-crat before the term Bernie-crat appeared, because I was raised as an FDR Democrat, and I started following politics about the 2000 election. I apologize if this makes any viewer feel old, but I was about 10 at the time. But that's because I lived in Florida and I saw the election getting stolen, and I'm like, oh, this is a thing, and I started following it ever since. So I just wanted to bring that up, because I was fortunate in the regard that I had the chance to be observant. I didn't have to have that much of a conversion. I just stopped talking in the military about politics because
kind of got to.
Well, I was an overweight sailor to begin with, and so everyone was out to get me immediately. No matter how good I was at my job, you were considered the worst sailor ever because you were overweight.
Oh, it's the ultimate crime in the military.
Right.
Like, God forbid, it doesn't matter how good you are at physical training. It does not matter how good you are at your job. God help you if you're fatter than they think you should be, which is they have ridiculous standards. I don't have to tell you that.
Well, no. Well, I'll get to that part, the weird change in a second. Didn't matter how strong you were either, because like a good example was they were moving some of the I think it was acetylene tanks, which are not light. And there was like the DC men were sitting there, 2-man carrying it, and I'm like, throw it over the shoulder, just walking up the brow like it's nothing. Because I've got really strong legs, or at least I used to. I haven't trained in like 5 years, and I'm getting back into working out, so that's another conversation. And so if I get my legs underneath something, I can move it. I'm used to moving my own body weight. So I don't know if you dealt with similar. So you from what I can tell, you are a rather in shape person. So.
I do my best, and I was like right on the edge of what they considered a healthy weight, and I had friends who were in a very similar situation where they were really good at physical training, they were really good at lifting stuff, they could run real fast and all that, and yet they were just treated like the most worthless people. I was like, we need them to carry the things, please leave them alone.
And then you have the person that if a breeze blew, they get knocked over. That's the greatest sailor, soldier, whatever, ever.
Yep. Just really, yeah, not great.
So that's the politics of the military, and then that's can lead to people, most of the time lead to people becoming more conservative, because it is a cult, it is brainwashing. That's why Laura becoming more liberal was something I had to bring up, because it is actually a really big deal. So one of my other friends who is a fan of your work, Sherrod, which some of you know because I work with them on several other videos, actually commented on that and was really impressed. So you've got a couple fans among my friends. So
that's awesome.